Are you curious about financial literacy? Then take a look at Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO's new program on Parrot TV. It's called Financial Focus University. This is an excellent program to learn about questions related to your own finances post-COVID, and how you can manage your money, how you can work with your tax situation. And this is an excellent and informative discussion of financial literacy. With Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO, your financial problems will be solved at Parrot TV with Financial Focus University.
Good afternoon, everyone. And as I always like to say, Happy New Year. Welcome to Financial Focus University. Your host, my name is Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO. As most people know, I have several lives. My first and predominant life is I am the founder, of the Financial Advisors Group, a 25-year-old investment planning firm. I am currently the CEO of RIVIECCIO Financial Advisors, an internet financial advisory firm. My second life is, of course, I am an adjunct professor for both CUNY and private universities here in the city of New York. And my third life, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to you. I am the host of our wonderful weekly financial news, market information, and personal finance show. We have a wonderful show for you today. I think it's going to be a little chock-filled. We might be on the show for 45 minutes max, but I think you'll find it very wonderful. We're going to cover three very important areas today, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is our traditional weekly Bidenomics segment. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope after this segment, you don't have a heart attack, because you will find out exactly how wonderful the market was this week, even to the Bob Press Index. Segment 2, how to build a business, right? Sounds very simple? No, it isn't. We're going to cover very quickly the 25-year history of the Financial Advisors Group. Why? Because everybody wants to know, how do you build a business, right? Whether it's a storefront, whether it's an internet house, whether it's a home office. What are the 5 tools? That's your first hint, ladies and gentlemen. What are the 5 tools of building a business? That will be our second segment. And our third and final segment comes from our traditional Ask the Question segment. And ladies and gentlemen, today I have a question for you. What is Monday? It is not what you think. We'll talk about that in a few moments. Let's now talk about Bidenomics. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about the economic numbers and the financial news and market information for the week, you're going to find out that, of course, not just does our economy get affected by the traditional micro and macro economic numbers, but of course it also gets handled by many other non-economic factors, right? Such as the foreign wars that we're having and things of such. But let's talk about what happened from an economic standpoint during the course of the week. So when we go to our first slide, you'll see these were the items that took place during the course of our economic week. The level of consumption in the United States, ladies and gentlemen, went up. People are still spending, but they're not spending on durable goods because durable goods went down. They seem to be spending on capital goods as capital goods went up. They're not spending or buying or refinancing their mortgages because those prices, forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, that demand, I should say, is now going down. Why? Because there's this perception of higher interest rates. Ladies and gentlemen, jobless claims. Well, jobless claims also went down. When jobless claims go down, that generally means more people are working because they are not applying for unemployment. So now we get to the last indicator, gross domestic product of the last quarter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as people that watch our show know, the last several weeks, we've had several bad economic numbers, right? So you put it all together, gross domestic product for the last quarter went down. It went down, actually, in my opinion, very bad, negative 1.5%. So Put that in the mix, add it all up for the week. What does it mean? Let's go to the next slide, because you're going to see that for the week, we had a great week. We started off Monday going up 1.5%. And then, ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday, here comes the roller coaster. We went down. We went down negative 1.1%. But ladies and gentlemen, get ready for blast off, because on Wednesday, we went back up. We went back up 1.2%. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're going up and down, I'm getting more gray hair. On Thursday, we went up again. We went up 2.0%. Oh my God, what is going on? So ladies and gentlemen, at the end of business day today, we went up again. We went up another 2.1%. Oh my God, I know people are jumping out the window for joy, and I don't blame them. So that's how it was on a day-by-day basis. Put it all together. Let's see how it looks for the week. We go to our next slide, and you'll see that for the week, our market generated 6.7% return. Let me say that again, ladies and gentlemen. In 1 week, your accounts, your stock investment accounts, generated a return of 6.7%. Isn't that wonderful? That's the stock market. Let's take a look at some areas in the bond market. In the bond market, the 2-year Treasury bond. The 2-year Treasury bond went down a little bit in value. It went down at 1%. You can now get a 2-year Treasury bond at 2.48%. The 10-year Treasury bond. Well, the 10-year Treasury bond went up. Looks like a very good indicator, ladies and gentlemen. It went up 1.5%. You can now get a 10-year Treasury bond at 2.7%. So now getting a sense of the stock and bond markets. And ladies and gentlemen, let me emphasize, I don't emphasize this enough. When I talk about the stock market, I'm talking about the combination of all the indicators. I'm talking about the S&P 500. I'm talking about the Dow Jones. I'm talking about the NASDAQ. I'm also talking about the Russell 500. So put all that together. These are your equivalent averages. So as we go further down in the chart, you'll see year to date, from January 1 to today, we've had 21 weeks in the stock market. How are we doing? Well, we're still down, ladies and gentlemen. We're down negative 10.4%. So with that wonderful week that we had, we were able to make some of those gains back. You'll even notice, ladies and gentlemen, that our wonderful Bob Press Gloom and Doom Index also, of course, had a great week, right? He was down close to 10%, if I remember correctly. But now Bob is holding on for the year, or I should say for the 11 weeks that he said, I'm all in. Well, he's still all in, but now at only a negative 3.7%. Ladies and gentlemen, what does all of this mean in the world of Bidenomics? Well, the only true answer I got for you, ladies and gentlemen, besides my 31 years of service in this industry, is if I had the answers, I'd be at the racetrack. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment.
Do you know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer? This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely finish you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Segment 2, how to build your own business. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you part of that answer right now. And with that answer, I'm going to give you a nice little story. The answer is you have to pretend that as you're building a business, you're building a house. And as with every house, you have to build floors. So when you build a business, generally speaking, you want to think about building a 5-story house. And then, of course, you want the first floor to be as sturdy as possible because the first floor has to hold the other 4 floors, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, in 1996, I was privileged enough to work for Chase Manhattan Bank. And I worked with 4 other brokers down on Wall Street, making about $37,000 a year. And 25 years ago, $37,000 a year was equivalent to about $80,000 today. We were working probably about 100 hours a week. And although we were working 100 hours a week, we really didn't mind because, of course, when you work on Wall Street, the objective is to make money, right? So, you know, we were all doing fairly well. And then all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, we got introduced to our brand new supervisor of health. Now, I won't share too many horror stories with you because we can be on here for another 3 hours. But just to give you some examples, right? My team, because I was in charge of the team in 1996, I was one of the highest producers there. My job was to make sure we were always at a particular level, and we always were. So, of course, being at that level, one of the unwritten rules on Wall Street is that as long as they're at that level, right, you give them some liberty with certain things. So if they want to take a 2-hour lunch break and maybe they're going to be with a client, you allow them to do that. If they're going to be 15, 20 minutes late at their job, not to say it's permissible, but if they're one of the high-ranking producers, you let them do that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, forgive me, Chase Manhattan Bank hired a brand new supervisor that wasn't just a brand new supervisor, but he was a brand new supervisor to the industry. So after about 5 times in 3 weeks, when he kept reporting my team for being 2 minutes late for their morning meetings, we decided, you know what? We don't need this crap. We're going to go out and we're going to start our own business. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, funny short story. We were so drunk the night that we made this decision that because I really don't even remember this part to tell you the truth, according to my friends, I submitted my resignation through fax, and that was the end of that tune, right? That's how upset we all were. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We were great at one of those floors, right? One of those floors is called sales. So between me and my 3 compadres, I knew that we were great at sales. We didn't know what the other floors were. We didn't even know if we wanted to even care what the other floors were. We knew that we were good at sales, and that was the end of that tune, right? Wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, the proper way to set up a business, as I said a moment ago, is to think of it as building a 5-story house. So when you build a 5-story house, as I said a moment ago, you want the first floor to be as sturdy as possible. So now when we start going to our slides, and again, if anybody wants a copy of our slides, just reach out to me and I'll be glad to send it to you. We're going to cover the first floor. The first floor, ladies and gentlemen, we call registration. And you have to be registered not just with the federal government, but also with the state that you reside in, right? So what is federal registration? Federal registration is a form that any person that wants to build a business has to fill out for the purpose of getting their EIN number, their employer identification number, because you'll find out very quickly in the business world that your EIN number is equivalent to your Social Security number in the private world. Now, each state has different requirements, and we'll talk about the state in a moment. But the federal government, their requirement is simply universal. So, Part A, Step 1, you fill out your federal registration form. You would fill that out through the Department of Treasury, and the name of that form is called SS4. You can go to irs.gov or go to any financial advisory firm. You can even go to a stationery store and probably pick up the SS4 form. In today's internet world, I strongly suggest You can go right to irs.gov, do a quick search, and fill it out. It's only one page. What does the page ask you to do? Well, this is now where you would start to define your business a little bit more. You would give your business a name. We called it the Financial Advisors Group. You would create a structure for that business. Our original structure was we were a 4-person partnership. You would talk about the type of business that it is. Our business at that time was, of course, financial services and investment management. You would talk about the products and services that you would offer. And you're basically describing what it is that you want to create. And with today's internet, again, I indicated you could fill it out right online. If you're approved by the government, and basically over 90% of the people are, as long as they don't have any criminal records of any kind, bingo, you get an IRS acceptance letter with your EIN number. And like I said, that EIN number in the business world is very important. You need it for business-related transactions. You need it to open up business bank accounts. You will find out in the business world, again, you'll need it for many, many, many important things. You'll also need it for the next step, because now you're done with federal registration. You're going to need it, however, for state registration. So when we talk about state registration, most states have what is called a business registry department. And here, if you're, for example, in the state or the city of New York, where in the city of New York you have 5 boroughs, well, each state or each borough has a county office. So, for example, in the borough of Bronx, I had a county office at 161st Street. It's in the county of Brooklyn, it would be in the Borough Hall section. If you're in Manhattan, I believe it would be near the City Hall vicinity. The easiest and best way to find out where your county business registration department office is just call 311. Call 311, tell them what you're looking for, tell them the county that you want, again, whether it's Brooklyn, Queens, wherever it is, and they will send you there. Now, when you get that address, you're going to probably have to go live, right? Because now you got to register it with the state. So again, bring the IRS letter. That's the first thing they're going to ask you for, right? So that's, again, part of Part B. The second thing you should bring is photo identification. And then, of course, the third thing you should bring is a utilities bill. Utility bill basically to prove the residency of where it is you're going to live. Once you have those 3 things, fill out their business application, which you'll find in most states is very similar to the federal application. You'll walk out the same day with a sealed certificate from the county and the state where you reside. So now you have just completed step 1. You are federally and state registered to now do business. And again, if you do it through the internet, you can get your EIN number the same day. If you go to the state or to the county office, fill out the forms and get a license through the state, you can probably have it all done within a week. No reason to rush, but of course it's on your time, your schedule, and that's how you do it. And that's just the first floor, ladies and gentlemen, because remember I said, to hold the other floors, we need a sturdy first floor. First floor is called registration. Now, when we go to the next slide, we're going to talk about the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors. And ladies and gentlemen, they don't have to be in any particular order, but what's important is that they all have to be working as soon as possible, and they all have to be intertwined, right? So like I said a little earlier, I said I was working with 3 brokers. We were great in sales, and that's all we knew, and that's all we cared about, right? So let's just look at these orders here for a moment, right? 2nd floor. 2nd floor is marketing, right? What's marketing? Well, of course, we found out 25 years later, well, marketing is what we call in layman's terms, getting the cheek in the seat, right? We forgot that Chase Manhattan Bank did all of that for us, right? We were selling the people when they brought their cheek into the seat. But of course, the financial advisors group didn't do any marketing at all, right? So what was marketing? Well, we found out, of course, 25 years later, marketing is a number of different things. Marketing is many of the things that Chase Manhattan Bank does. Marketing really, it should be the things that most appeal to you as the owner of the business. That could be internet marketing, that could be email marketing, that could be oh my gosh, forgive me. I mentioned email. I was thinking internet advertising. That could be radio advertising. That could be putting flyers on the floor. That could be putting a radio advertisement. And what are you putting on those things? Well, you're putting something called promotion, ladies and gentlemen, right? Because what are you going to promote? You're going to promote your products. You're going to promote your services. But you want to entice me, right? You want my cheek in the seat. So I don't care how beautiful the picture is. Let's get to the bottom line. Do I get a discount? Do I get an incentive? Can I buy 2 for 1, right? 3 for 2, right? This is called promotion, ladies and gentlemen. These are the old discount cards that I'm sure some of the old timers like me and my mother that might remember. I always remember my mother every Sunday. She would sit down with the newspaper and clip those coupons for hours. And of course, being young, I didn't realize that when we went shopping, of course, she brought them all, with her. I remember being a kid being so embarrassed until I found out later on that those coupons, every time bill, right? So of course, I'd want to clip them off too, right? So marketing is a very important floor in the sense of building a business. You should always have your marketing going on, and you should always keep researching your marketing, whether it has to do with public relations I have up there, right? Press releases, right? Doing media interviews, getting referrals from friends, getting referrals from clients. We have at our company, the Financial Advisors Group, our clients know, we have something simple called the Refer a Friend program, where they get up to a $75 credit on products and services that we provide. Takes care of a nice little slice of our bringing the cheek to the seat, right? Because again, in my humble opinion, that's really what it's all about. So that's the second floor, right? But again, these don't have to be in any particular order. Well, you just heard me mention sales, right? So now that Chase Manhattan Bank or the Financial Advisors Group has now done all this marketing, well, now we got some cheeks coming into the seats, and we're going to make some sales, and we're going to have contracts. And if you want a business, you should develop contracts. We'll talk about that in a moment. And when you develop contracts and you have signed agreements and payments are being made, that means you have a client. Congratulations. The sales were done. You have a department that handles that, right? So now when we get to the administration, well, who takes care of that paperwork, right? Who takes care of that contractual agreement? Who takes care of that file? Who does the amendment of that contractual agreement? I have an administrative assistant that's going to be spending all day tomorrow on a promotion we did that some of our clients have accepted, but what we have to do on our end is adjust their contractual agreement that it goes hand in hand with the new promotion that we gave them, right? Who's going to handle that, right? So again, you need another floor, another department, right? Another person to handle what we call the administrative details of the business, right? And finally, finance, right? We call it finance, but you just had a sale. You just got a check, right? Or maybe you got cash. God forbid you got Bitcoin. But either way, who's handling that? Right? You can't handle that. You're too busy making sales. You can't let marketing handle it because they're too busy marketing, right? Who handles that? Well, the person that handles the books, of course, handles the money. Oh my God, we got to do books? Oh my God, I didn't know we had to do books. Why do we have to do books? Oh, because we have to do our income taxes? Oh, what's that? See, all of these things, ladies and gentlemen, that four brokers did not think about when we created the Financial Advisors Group in 1996. In some ways, amazing that we're still even here. But you need a marketing department or a finance department or a finance floor, right, to have that going. Ladies and gentlemen, I use my business as an example for a couple of different reasons. The biggest reason, on July 2nd, we are celebrating our 26th year as a business. As you heard me say, we only knew about sales, right? We didn't know about the other floors to the department. How did we learn? We learned a number of different ways. We learned through going to classes for these things. We learned by doing library reading in those days. And this reading and research, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is continual. Some of my partners will tell you I probably spend more time doing marketing research, always finding ways to fine tune, getting people into the seats, coming up with promotions and incentives to get people to inquire and research and hopefully buy. So it's always a continual process. But I can tell you that the reason why I'm telling you this story is because if it's something you love to do, and for 25 years we love being in financial services, we decided to learn the hard way. And ladies and gentlemen, let me give you an example of what I mean by the hard way. Sometimes when we build a business, right, we don't really think about what it is we have to sacrifice to have what I consider to be a successful business. You heard me mention earlier that in 1996, we were probably working about 100 hours a week. And we were making equivalent to $80,000 at that period of time. Today, our average broker is probably making about $50,000 a year. We don't work 100 hours a week. I would say the one that probably works the most is me, and I work 3 days a week. Some of our other brokers work 2 days a week. What do we do with that extra time? Well, some of us do different things, right? I won't mention any names with our partners, but I know one that likes to sleep. Someone like myself, as you heard me mention earlier, right? I didn't have 3 lives 25 years ago. So, of course, I expanded into education. I expanded into many other areas while still building a business. So, did I lose, some upfront money on one end? Yeah, you could say I did. Do I work less hours than I did before? Absolutely do. Am I more happier than I was 25 years ago? Some days I say yeah, some days I say no, but I guess I'll sum it up by saying this. Where I teach today at Herbert H. Lehman College, now being 6 years, subsequently, as people know, I graduated from Herbert H. Lehman College with my bachelorette degree in 1987. So for me, it's very humbling, very honoring to not just get into education, but to start as someone that worked in the junior high school level, then went to the high school level, and now at the university level. And ladies and gentlemen, on July 2nd of this year, as some people might know already, the business sale will be complete. Last year, I announced that I was selling 65% of my interest to the other partners who have other intentions, I'm sure, with the firm. And I'm very bittersweet about it in one sense. But I also know that I'm 62, not to say that I feel 62, but I decided to go into semi-retirement. And it's very humbling to know that after 25 years, this company will still be around taking care of people, but more in an investment management firm, because some people, of course, might know that over the course of 25 years, the Financial Advisors Group sort of morphed from a full service investment advisory firm to a full service financial advisory firm. And we decided as four partners, we wanted to keep the focus on investment management. And I, in turn, created an internet financial advisory firm. All right, enough said on the Financial Advisors Group. What's more important, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you pursue a passion to go out there, and I'm sure you've heard the old phrase, be your own boss. Well, ladies and gentlemen, be your own boss, follow a roadmap. I hope this roadmap helped a little bit, and it's a very continuing process of education. Need any help? Feel free to give me a call, 347-575-5045. We'll be back in a moment.
Are you curious about financial literacy? Then take a look at Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO's new program on Parrot TV. It's called Financial Focus University. This is an excellent program to learn about questions related to your own finances post-COVID, and how you can manage your money, how you can work with your tax situation. And this is an excellent and informative discussion of financial literacy. With Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO, your financial problems will be solved at Parrot TV with Financial Focus University.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope I didn't scare you over in that last segment. You know, I was just getting sweaty just talking about it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about our last segment. You heard me mention it's our Ask the Question segment. And no, I don't believe that's it. That's almost it. You're getting warmer. So in our Ask the Question segment, you know, I decided I want to ask you guys a question. And I think it's very appropriate that I ask you guys this question. What is Monday? Ladies and gentlemen, Monday is Memorial Day. And as obvious as that sounds, you know, I had a situation this morning where some people, and it's a common mistake, you know, like to thank me because they equate Memorial Day to Veterans Day. And of course, Veterans Day should be celebrated by everyone, especially for veterans like myself that are alive. But Memorial Day is more for, of course, our fallen soldiers that could not make it with us. So what you're looking at are pictures where I accepted a Community Board 7 Veterans Award at Herbert H. Lehman College, right? Ironic of all places. The award was from State Senator Jamal Bailey. But I want to take this moment to please ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to think about David. David, for one moment, was with me in 1981. When David and I were shipped on a submarine in 1981, we were told we were going to fight, or I should say, to get our Iranian hostages back from Iran. You might have heard in 1981, we had a problem with Iran, and they had our Iranian hostages for 444 days. We were put on a 30-day standby. And again, David, like myself, was 18 years old at the time. The good news is that, of course, all the hostages were saved. The bad news is that some of the people that were on that ship, including David, didn't make it home. They weren't in war. They were recognized as being in war, but they sadly killed themselves because of being on a submarine and knowing what was at that time to be looking full ahead, with our last orders at that time being killed or be killed. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate this long weekend, stay safe, please enjoy yourself, and please remember the thousands and thousands and thousands of Davids, as I will, this Memorial weekend. Be financially focused. Have a good weekend.
Are you curious about financial literacy? then take a look at Professor Anthony Riveccio's new program on Parrot TV. It's called Financial Focus University. This is an excellent program to learn about questions related to your own finances post-COVID, and how you can manage your money, how you can work with your tax situation. And this is an excellent and informative discussion of financial literacy. With Professor Anthony Riveccio,